Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Marco Dre Show, everybody. It is Thursday, July 31st. Tomorrow is August. Can't believe how this summer is already flying by. Regardless of that, thanks for tuning in today's show that will give you all the groundbreaking news across the country, where the facts are facts and hard truths thrive. Please be sure to like, follow, and share the show with others to get this information out, everybody. I do appreciate when you do that. Helps out the show, and of course it helps spread the truth. Now let's get ready for the best hour that radio has to offer. Uncensored and ready to go, let's get right down to brass tacks. Making its way around the news today, of course the most important topic, I believe, right now, and there's many topics out there, Kamala Harris has decided that she will not run for governor of California. So all of you in California can give a sigh of relief on that one. You certainly dodged a bullet. God knows who else is going to be running in that race. You know, I've heard rumors of various Democrats, of course. One of them's Eric Garcetti. You all remember him, mayor of Los Angeles. Eric Garcetti's going to come back and run. I guess his tenure in India is over now. So now he has another office he can now destroy, the governorship, after he destroyed the mayoralship of Los Angeles. Yeah, there you go. Eric Garcetti's being one of the first people they're throwing their eyes at in this race. Rob Bonta, the communist attorney general of California, who, again, sides with every position that Gavin Newsom sides with. He's throwing his head in. The unknown lieutenant governor, Elena, I don't even know what her last name is. No one knows who she is. Yet they all voted for her en masse. Those are the three top people running in that race. And I'm guessing she probably, again, pulled very low in this race, which is why she's, again, not going to be probably running in it. Willie Brown saw this. I think he also foresaw that she probably shouldn't be running in a race where she's going to lose and then, again, try to go for a national position like president again. Doesn't make any sense. She doesn't have a chance to even win a primary, likely. I think she was polling somewhere around 19%. Very low. Very, very low. So whatever abomination the Democrats throw at California in next year's gubernatorial race, God only knows who that could be. I've also heard, though, former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa might run again. Who knows? So there's lots of people running on that. Of course, on the Republican side, I've heard Steve Hilton's going to be running. There's a couple other people. Rick Caruso. Rick Caruso. Yeah, he's going to be running. More than likely. And he would actually be a very good candidate in that race, should he run. So who knows who's going to be running the California race? But what does it say about Kamala Harris? What are her plans for the future? She's relatively young in politics. She's only 60 years old. What are her next plans, though? She's going to have to do something. Because 4 years in politics is a lifetime. You know, I think back to when Nixon ran in 1960 after he was vice president for 2 terms under Eisenhower. And he ended up losing. Well, he didn't really lose, but the election was stolen for Kennedy. Yeah, you can look that up too, folks, if you want to see that, how they stuffed the ballots in Mayor Daley's Chicago, Texas, Hawaii, and one other state to give him the electoral race. Yep. Nixon knew that, by the way. Nixon knew that he got cheated. He knew right away, but he didn't do anything about it because he said he didn't want people to lose confidence in the electoral system of America. Yeah, that's who Nixon was, folks, in case you're all wondering that. So everyone thought she was going to be a Nixon, be vice president, come back, eventually run for governor of California, jump back into the presidential arena later on. But she seems to be holding off on this. So my question is, what is she going to jump into next? What is she going to do? Is she going to go quietly into the night? I doubt it. I doubt that. I doubt that very much. Yes, she's got lots of money, thanks to her husband. But I think she's going to go for something else. She's got to go for something else. Now, if she does have her eye on 2028, I don't think she's going to even scratch this primary race. I don't. Last time she was in this, just understand this, in 2020, she didn't even make it to 2020. She dropped out in 2019 because she was polling so low. I believe she had like 1% of the vote, if that. It was something outrageously low like that. She was the first person to drop out after Tulsi Gabbard lit her on fire on the stage. You all remember that. And that ended her. She was done. She has nothing. 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 She's an empty skirt. That's all she is. Or an empty suit. Whatever way you want to look at it. Nothing is there with Kamala Harris. So we know that nothing is going to be there this time around again. What does she have to run on? What can she point to in her career as vice president, as California senator for 4 years, as attorney general of California? All anyone has to do is say she wrote the language for Prop 47 and everyone's going to go running. Which everyone really, with this last Prop 36, rejected. Rejected. This was the prop that she wrote the language for this, by the way. She called it the Safe Schools and Neighborhood. You know, something deceptive like that. So everyone thought, oh, okay, we want safe schools, we want safe neighborhoods. Yes, I'll vote for this proposition. And it allowed people to steal up to $950 worth of goods without getting arrested. Well, I think people in California can tell you how that went. Crime skyrocketed. Businesses were looted. Businesses were ransacked. I mean, we see this constantly. And even to this day, this still happens. But it was just out of control for the longest time. Because the Democrats, never understand this, the Democrats have weaponized law. What do I mean by that? That means they will destroy the law in order to, again, gain power of a situation. Or they will use the law to run civil unrest on the people. That's what that proposition was. That's what you're seeing. So she has nothing to run on. This is what I'm wondering about. If she runs again, what is she going to run on? She already ran a race and lost to Donald Trump. It wasn't good. She was horrible and everything. I mean, she had nothing. There was no substance there, folks. And nothing's going to be there next time around. Is she going to take the Hillary Clinton approach? You know, go be a president of some unknown university that nobody gives a damn about? Write a book, go on a tour? I mean, what's she going to do? Is she going to get a spot on CNN? Next to that little commie, what's her name? Jen Psaki? Yeah, maybe she'll do that. She'll get known that way. I mean, I don't think it's going to go well for her. If she cannot win in California, if she's not popular enough to win in California, as a Democrat, how in the world is she going to win on a national stage again? It's just not going to happen. I think she sees this. I think she understands the reality of this. But she doesn't want to stop. She doesn't want to just be remembered as someone who lost her last race. Like Hillary Clinton, right? A two-time loser. So what is she going to do, Kamala? What is going to happen? Is she going to run something for the Democrats? Is she going to be the head of the DNC? What is going to happen? Nobody really knows. And no one will know, really, until 2028. Or sometime around then, if she throws her hat in the ring again. But she will have to do something if she decides to do that. Yeah. She said this, just yesterday, that she's not going to be in the race. Everyone was, not shocked necessarily. But in a statement on her X account, Harris said that she reflected deeply and decided not to seek office for now. So there's the key words there, for now. For now, my leadership in public service will not be an elected office. I will look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fearlessly, and sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans. Wow. That was the first cogent statement she's ever made in her life. I think we should give her credit for that. I mean, she was one word salad after another, one idiotic remark after another, one lie after another. I mean, the woman does nothing. And it's just shocking to me, too. This is the best we've got is Kamala Harris? An idiot? A complete moron? running on a national ticket to lead the entire nation of 350 million people. You try to make sense of that. You know, people always say the scum rise to the top. The idiots rise to the top. Look at this. Look at these morons coming out of this party. I mean, she couldn't even go to the Voters of Tomorrow Summit for the Democrats and speak in person. She had to have a video call just streamed, pre-recorded. She couldn't even handle sitting down with Lester Dult, Brett Baer, on The View. I mean, she could not handle anything live off the cuff. And again, that's why she fumbled on the stage during the primary. When Tulsi Gabbard threw that out there, that she was, again, incriminating and holding people on sentences for marijuana violations, she had nothing. She couldn't respond to that because that's what she is. She is a pay-for-play candidate. I've told you this before. Look at her time as Attorney General. Look at her time as DA of San Francisco. You know, one of the things that's interesting about all this is she came up around the same time as Gavin Newsom. Both of them got their start under Willie Brown. She really got her start under Willie Brown, being his mistress and all that. But nonetheless, they both got started in their positions by Willie Brown. That's how San Francisco knew who they were. Gavin Newsom was appointed to the Board of Stoop Advisors. He stayed in there, and he was likely coached by Willie Brown until, again, he won the mayoralship in 2004. But Kamala Harris, the same thing. He gave her some position in the government. Then, of course, she runs for DA of San Francisco, wins that race, and then it continues on from there. So since the mid-90s, she's been in politics, thanks to Willie Brown. Gavin Newsom, since the late 90s, again, thanks to Willie Brown. And this is what we have. We have these, people that have been in these positions for about 30 years. They've done nothing. They stand for nothing except destroying the entire state. These two have done more damage to the state of California than anybody else in time, I think. When you look back at it, how things have changed so dramatically in the last 10, 15 years in this state. It's almost unrecognizable. And it's only getting worse. Things are not improving. When things stop improving, you know it's over. Go look at Detroit. Go look at D.C. Go look at New York City. Things are not getting better. They're getting worse. And they're getting more out of control as time goes on. All by design, by the way. This was Kamala, though. This is her words of wisdom, though, to the wonderful people at the Voters of Tomorrow Summit. This was to galvanize and get more Democratic voters. This is what she had to say, though. Take a listen.
So keep building your political power. Keep building community. Keep building coalitions. Keep challenging the status quo. And born out of our love for our country, keep fighting to build a country and a nation that works for everyone.
Okay, I've got to stop this right now. You can't see this because it's, not on video, it's on audio, but right under her name it says she, her, right? And does she say anything that would get you motivated to vote for a Democrat? Does she say anything? Oh, stay against the status quo. You are the status quo, lady. You are the status quo. You and Biden. You are the status quo. You're not anything new. She tried to play herself off as something new, but she was really something that had just been a fixture of the Democratic Party for so many years. She's not charismatic. She's not intelligent. She doesn't do anything. She hasn't achieved anything. She's a nothing. That's all she is. That's all she is. But people will vote Democrat no matter what. You throw an idiot like this, they vote Democrat. And where is the Democratic Party now? Where are the leaders of the Democratic Party? I wonder. Who is going to want to vote Democrat in the 2026 midterm election, in 2028, the next presidential round? Who's going to want to vote for this party when you have morons like this?
My name is Jess. I go by she, her, them pronouns, y'all. I'm here as the elder millennial, geriatric millennial, elder, youth elder, whatever you want to call it, the old person in the room to be helpful. So if you need something logistically, if you need some type of support, find me, let me know. And you have what you need to be able to show up, to be able to be your full self. Also, just a couple of logistical flags. We're in this entire space. So if you need to go inside, you want to be outside, whatever feels good for you, you should do what feels good in this space for you. Bathrooms, use whatever bathroom you want. It doesn't matter what it says. All this is social construct. Gender is a social construct. You know what else is? Time. So I know some people are like, we're running late. What is time? Okay, so
Yeah, try that on your first job. Yeah, do that. Your first day of work. Hey, what's time, boss? See how long you last there. But it didn't end there. It did end there with the idiotic gender pronoun nonsense that, again, this party keeps pushing. Did Kamala Harris really have to put she, her under her name on this video that she's recording? I mean, the fact that, again, we enter this type of mental illness where we're talking about the stupidity that the left created, by the way, where you can't figure out that Kamala Harris is a woman. Really, folks? Really? This is where we are? Now, it wasn't all just, time is a construct, gender is a construct. First of all, no, gender is not a construct, you moron. It's biology. That's number one. Who is this appealing to? Who is this appealing? I want to know, who is this appealing to? Who is this motivating? I really want to know. Is this motivating?
I think this question is really interesting, looking into the audience. I see a lot of young people, and I'm presuming you guys care about a multitude of issues, anything from gun violence to healthcare, reproductive justice, to education, to climate crisis, to criminal justice reform. And what I think is amazing and sucks at the same time is that all of these issues are intertwined into one fight. And so the person next to you, if you look at them, they might work in a completely different issue sector, but their issue is intertwined with your fight. And so
look at all that. Social justice, climate change. Notice she didn't say anything about the economy, or getting a job, or buying a home of your own, or buying your own car, or starting your own business, or public safety, or national security. No. Climate change, social justice. What else did she, I don't even know what else she said. I don't even care what she said. Again, there's no applause when these people are talking. Sadly enough. I mean, it's just low energy, same old rhetoric, the same old song and dance. But it had to end with the greatest of all. The greatest of all, folks. Nancy Pelosi.
It's so invigorating to be in the presence of the future. Thank you.
Wait a minute. I thought time was a construct. I thought, the future is right now. Now it's over. It's ended. It's gone. Never coming back. Oh, it's the future right now. There we go. This is the future? No. They're the past. Because someday, someone else will be the new future, right? Right, Nancy? I wonder how many vodka she had before she got on the stage. That's what I want to know. She's already moving the hands around. It's not a good look, folks. Not a good look to have an 85-year-old woman be your keynote speaker to address young people to vote for your party. What else did Nancy have to say?
All for making the trek and to making the decision to make your mark on the future, to make the difference. Santiago.
Oh, dear. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. So this fell flat on their face, as one could imagine. It's not looking good for the Democrats. They have nobody to run. This is not looking good, folks. Not looking good. They're going to have to go to somebody new. They tried Hillary twice, didn't work. They had to throw Biden there and rig the election, of course, in 2020 to get that to work, thanks to the COVID scam. And then again, we had Biden staying in the race. Then, of course, he dropped out. And then, of course, Kamala Harris comes in and completely falls right in her face. And it was clearly rejected by the American people. So who are the people that are going to come out of the woodwork that desperately want to become president, that desperately want to take the Democratic ticket to the White House? Who is that going to be? I wonder, who is that going to be? Is it going to be Gavin Newsom? Is it going to be Andrew Cuomo? Who's it going to be? Who can the Democrats find that have run their states properly, not into the ground? Is it going to be Phil Murphy? Is it going to be J.B. Fat-Ass Pritzker? Who's it going to be? I want to know. They don't have anybody. They don't have anybody that could win a national election. Yes, on a state level, at a mayoral level, they have people that can win races because, again, they control the voting, largely. That's a big help for them, of course. But here's an article in the Sacramento Bee. Listen to this. It says, Gavin Newsom tackles masculinity crisis via executive order. Oh, I'm sure this is going to get people to vote Democratic. I'm sure this is going to really invigorate people to want to go vote Democratic, after all. Listen to this. Governor Gavin Newsom is the latest Democratic leader to address the question of how to solve rising rates of loneliness, substance use disorder, economic stagnation among American men. Now, first of all, I don't even know how you solve these things via executive order. It's a bit odd, I would have to say. He issued an executive order directing his administration to engage more men and boys by identifying civic volunteer opportunities, because I'm sure that's what everyone wants to do, expanding mental health support, and recruiting more male teachers and school counselors. You mean before that they weren't looking for male teachers and counselors? Or looking for women only? I wonder sometimes. I do wonder that. Now, this is, again, not a good look. Not a good look. Taking on masculinity? Listen to some of this crap that it says in here. Now, the Democrats are aware that more men were leaning towards Trump in the last elections, particularly more black and Latino men supporting him in 2020 and in 2016. Although overall, the people of color supported Harris, because of course we're including women in this too. But 55% of men cast their ballots for Trump in 2024. That's something they're looking at. They're saying, we need to win this demographic. Now, Trump made these inroads among young men. And again, it's been attributed to his appearances on particular podcasts. Think about going on Joe Rogan, things of that nature. Trump would speak with anybody. Trump would sit on any show and speak with anybody. That's the way he was. He went out and he was interviewed. That's how he did things. Kamala was very sheltered. She wouldn't go on, or she wouldn't do a live interview in many cases. She couldn't do it. She couldn't even handle 20 minutes with Brett Baer on Fox, folks. I mean, come on. He wasn't even going hard on her. And she couldn't. Her people were behind the camera, pulling the plug. They couldn't take it. I mean, she was that awful as a candidate. The DNC knows it. They know they can't run her. But are they going to run Gavin Newsom, who desperately wants to be president of the United States? I don't think they're going to be able to do this, folks. I don't think they're going to be able to do this. But look how they attack in this article. It says here that Trump spoke predominantly, of course, to male audiences and a host of streamers and influencers that comprise part of the manosphere. What the hell's a manosphere? Is there a womanosphere? I don't know. What is that even supposed to mean? A loose network of online communities that promote fitness and sports. Things that real men like to do. Working out, being active, watching sports. Look at this. Heterosexual dating strategies. Financing, investing, and which sometimes, but not exclusively, have a misogynistic bent. Look how they attack men. Look how they attack men. Just in this stupid article in the Sacramento Bee. This is why they're losing, by the way. This is why they're losing. Absolutely ridiculousness. All in of itself. How are you going to solve and take on masculinity per executive order? It's really stupid. Now, Gavin Newsom has tried to rebrand himself, if you will, because he's such a dumb schmuck and he's destroyed the state of California. He has nothing to run on. Gavin Newsom has absolutely nothing to run on. You remember the show where I had like 20 different things Gavin Newsom was destroying the state with? And the way California ranks as a state overall? I mean, I thought of 20 off the top of my head. And I share them with you. I mean, if someone really goes and digs on Gavin Newsom, I mean, you can go back to his time as mayor of San Francisco, lieutenant governor. You go back to, obviously, his 8 years as governor of the state of California. He has nothing, zero, zilch, nada. You can look for in any category and say this man governed properly. You can't do it. It doesn't exist. So he could talk to Charlie Kirk. He could try to, say he likes Joe Rogan. He can try to go on all these other podcasts with Sean Ryan or Diary of a CEO and try to look presidential, but it doesn't work. Especially when you're sitting with your legs crossed as awkwardly as he was in that one. Did you see that? That was disgusting. I don't even know how that's possible. What man sits like that? I don't know. I don't understand this. It's really awkward. Now, Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who is frequently talked about as a 2028 presidential contender, in the same breath as Newsom, recently ordered his cabinet secretaries to craft policy with men and boys in mind. See, look at this is the demographic they're going towards. And Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who's god-awful just like Gavin Newsom, also mentioned their plight in a February speech. This is just stupid. This is going to fall flat on their faces again. This is not going to work. Because these people, again, don't know how to market properly. Yes, they know how to say all the PC things that attract the, dumber people of society. But this is not going to work. This is not going to work. You can't pretend to be something you're not, obviously. And Gavin Newsom is not a macho alpha male. That's not what he is. He's bought and paid for by the House of Getty, the oil in California. He's just a product of that. And he happens to know people with power that get him in positions of power. That's all. That's it. That's all. Outside of California, he's a nothing. He's a nobody. Now, he's not going to stop trying, but it's not going to work at all. So he can make executive orders tackling masculinity. I don't think it's going to work. And that will be just another way you can attack him later on when he runs for president. Remember, he was in South Carolina a couple weeks ago when the Madre fire was burning out of control. 80,000 acres were burning. And where's Gavin Newsom? He's shaking hands in South Carolina to appeal to people in the first state of voting. That's where he wants to make his mark. He wants to come out on top there. South Carolina, then Iowa, then New Hampshire, and then move on to Super Tuesday to get some momentum going. He has nothing. He has nothing. And Gretchen Whitmer, again, nothing. She was just as bad as him on the COVID policies. She's really done a horrible job running her state. Awful job. Wes Moore is an interesting one, though. I got to tell you, Wes Moore is an interesting one. He grew up in New York City in poverty. Became a Rhodes Scholar, which means he is a communist. That's what all Rhodes Scholarships mean. Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. Little Robbie Reich. Remember Robbie Reich? His labor secretary later on. Commie. Yep. So anytime you hear Rhodes Scholar, just think they are in a position for globalism. Just understand that. And Wes Moore was a part of that circle. That's why they choose these people. To go study abroad so they can study communism. Not exclusively, of course, but that's the idea behind the whole thing. So understand that. But essentially, he was an investment banker. He's worth several millions of dollars. And then he goes on to run the Robin Hood Foundation. I told you about the Robin Hood Foundation. And how one of the founders is Glenn Durbin, one of the people that financed Jeffrey Epstein. And again, I'm not making a comparison that Wes Moore is a part of all that. I'm just saying, these are the people that he's associated with. These people of power. These people that can fund him. So always understand who these donor classes are, where they put their power. But he went from being an investment banker to being the head of the Robin Hood Foundation for several years, and then he goes on and runs for governorship of Maryland, making $180,000 a year. Yeah, he's going to have his eye on that too, folks. So watch out for Wes Moore coming in as well. Now, another way to tell you that wokeness is killing the Democratic Party. I'll look no further than this article in Breitbart that I have. It says here that the woke left's meltdown over Sydney Sweeney's ad explains why the Dems lost the election. You look no further than this. You see how these women have reacted. Calling to cancel Sydney Sweeney. They're talking about, obviously, she's pushing Nazi propaganda, Nazi dog whistles, white supremacist. All for an ad on jeans, by the way. All for an ad on jeans. That's all it was. An ad for jeans. Buy these jeans. And as I told you, Beyonce did the same thing about a year ago. No one said a damn thing about it. They're selling jeans, folks. American Eagle is selling jeans. They're having good-looking women do that. That's all. That's all. And of course, they compare it to eugenics movement in America. It's absolutely ridiculous. But this is the party. These are the main Democrat. They will vote Democrat no matter what. And these ugly, unconfident, useless women, that's who these women are, that are going out and staging all this grief about a jeans ad with a good-looking blonde in it. This is who the Democrats pander to. This is who they go for. White supremacy? Really? A jeans ad that had, again, nothing to do with race, nothing to do with even genetics. On the article, the ad, I should say, it said, Sydney Sweeney has good genes. And then it was crossed out and says, Jeans. Right? That was the whole point of it. And they're saying, no, this is a genetics. Yep, genetics. Give me a break, please. This is why they're losing. This is why they're losing. They're not going to recover from this because they keep the same mantra. They try to hide it for a little bit to become more palatable, and they go right back to it. This is how they operate. And again, you see their meltdown over this. Over a jeans ad, for God's sakes. Again, no one said anything about Beyonce when she did it, but when Sydney Sweeney does it, a good-looking blonde with blue eyes and blonde hair, who's fit and not morbidly obese, then it's a major problem. You see how they operate. Not a good look for them. Not a good look for them. And again, who are you pandering to? That's what I want to know. Who are you pandering to? The bottom 20% of your ridiculous core group of voters? I don't understand this. I mean, who would I want to look at Sydney Sweeney? It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. We talk about the pandering and we talk about the constant flipping, of course. And Zohran Mamdani, who is running for a New York City mayor, just came back from his wedding in Uganda with armed security, by the way, in masks, nonetheless. I figured he would declare them unlawful or as racist, as he does with the people of ICE and their agents. But Zohran Mamdani was in Uganda, got married in Uganda, in a lavish wedding. He's someone of certain privileges, in America. And he is going to be probably the front runner in this race right now. That's what we see. And I told you the other day, whoever handles this case that happened, this horrible mass shooting, and comes out on top as the biggest leader, is going to be the person that probably wins this race. Now, right now, what you see is Andy Cuomo. He's attacking him based on things that he said in the past. You have Eric Adams, who again is blatantly attacking him. But this shooting in Midtown that claimed the lives of 4 innocent people on Monday is going to be probably up front and center for who wins this mayoral race. I've said it to you before. I said it again. Whoever handles this the best is probably going to be the winner now. This moment of grief, this moment of mourning, this awful incident that has, again, destroyed part of New York City when these awful incidents happen. Now, Mamdani has a history, of course, of saying he wants to defund the police. He doesn't want police at all. He wants social workers to show up to these situations. He doesn't want any ICE agents in his city operating, which, he has no control over, but he wants to not cooperate with ICE, among other things. He said on Monday, this is what he had to say. He said, at this moment of mourning and grief, I want to thank law enforcement for their response to the horrific shooting on Monday and their work in keeping New Yorkers safe. Now, that's a completely different mantra than what he said previously. He has tweets about this. He has certain positions on this. This is him not too long ago. Take a listen to this. And again, he's trying to rebrand himself, as all Democrats try to do. Take a listen.
My statements in 2020 were ones made amidst a frustration that many New Yorkers held at the murder of George Floyd.
Okay, murder of George Floyd. So He wants to defund the entire police because, in New York City, because some police officer, wrongfully by the way, is accused of murdering George Floyd in Minneapolis. We should defund every police department across the country. That's his response to everything? It just shows you how stupid he really is. You know, something happens at a school, you don't say, let's fire every teacher. Something happens in a fire department, you say, let's defund the fire department. They don't want public safety. They don't want public safety. This is the problem. They want chaos in the streets. Chaos in the streets is good for them because then they can usher in more laws. That's how they operate. So you can forget about owning a gun, right? You saw Kathy Hochul come out the other day chastising gun owners, chastising the Second Amendment. It's all part of their plan. More government control, more government intervention. This gives them more power. And then once they get that power, they are never going to unleash it. Ever. Ever, ever. Now, let's not forget, he's called for dismantling the Strategic Response Group of New York City. This is the main group that goes out and this task force, they work with protests or civil unrest, emergency responses like mass shootings, like bank robberies, or what have you. These awful incidents, right, that happen. Now, Mamdani said, this is what a quote, this is on SeanHannity.com. Listen to this. He says, as mayor, I will disband the SRG, which has cost taxpayers millions in lawsuit settlements and brutalized countless New Yorkers exercising their First Amendment rights. Now, let's understand something. There is a difference between protesting lawfully, having your First Amendment rights be heard. Everyone has a right to protest. You don't have a right to unlawfully assemble, though. You don't have a right to accost ICE agents or police officers, or spray graffiti on buildings, or set buildings on fire, or destroy public property. You don't have that right. So let's understand what's actually going on. Now, of course, he seizes the moment. He says that he's holding the victims, their families, the NYPD officer, Officer Islam, and, of course, the other officer in critical condition in my thoughts. Grateful for all their first responders on the ground. So now he likes first responders. But among the first responders at the scene were members of the SRG, who stormed the building to ensure that the shooter had been contained. So it doesn't make any sense. He doesn't make any sense. He's a nitwit. He's never held a job before. Before he won the assemblyship, he was a failed rapper. I mean, this is pathetic. This is pathetic. Is this the best New York City has to offer? I ask myself, again, if you don't show everybody who this clown is, that he's a joke, that he's a nothing, that he's a zero, you're going to come up with a communist mayor, a 33-year-old putz in New York City. And again, I see a picture of him on this post that Sean Hannity has, and he's at appears to be a pride rally. I don't know. Behind him it says, God is gay, which again is blasphemy. He's holding a trans flag. There you go. That's who you're going to elect as your mayor someday, I guess. I don't understand this. But what is this called to leadership? What is he going to do to prevent these types of violent occurrences from happening? He doesn't offer anything. But he has to recant on his previous claims. He's going to get rid of all police, because no one in New York City is going to go for that. Yeah, no one in New York City is going to go for that. By the way, I saw this article. It doesn't make any sense to me, though. It just crazed me. He is winning among Jews in New York City. This is odd to me. I don't understand this. How the hell could this guy be leading amongst Jews in New York City? A guy who says globalize the Antifada, which is, again, this resistance or this attack among people that, I guess you would say, challenge Muslims, right? They use this often in Palestine, globalize the Antifada. But he wants to globalize the Intifada. This is what he wants. Everywhere in the world. And he's never said that, but he has also never condemned it. And again, you can see where he has gone to Uganda to get married. He doesn't get married in New York City. He gets married in Uganda, where he was born. Not saying that's a big problem, but look where this guy's bona fides lie, is what I want to say to you. So it'll be interesting to see how this race formulates, how it comes to a T. Again, if they don't shine the light on this guy, if they don't show who this guy is, New York City is going to wind up the financial capital of the nation, our biggest city in the nation. You're going to see everything go downhill very, very fast. And you're going to see a lot of people leaving, police included, New York City. Should this clown get in office, it will not be a good day in New York City at all. Now, some places around the world are really waking up to the fact that you can't allow millions of migrants to come into your country illegally. And it seems that Greece, in this Gateway Pundit article, agrees on this. It says here, Greece declares migrant crisis an invasion, suspends asylum claims, and detains all new arrivals on this wonderful raft that they're on in this picture to come to their country to assimilate to become Greeks, right? I doubt it. Some parts of Europe are finally waking up to the migrant invasion of their countries. According to the BBC, Greece has begun detaining male migrants. They're all males. Do you ever notice that? When you look at the pictures of the southern border of the Biden invasion, where he let in some 20 million illegals, most of them are men of military age. It's very interesting. Few women and children. And the few children that we had, we've lost. Right? We lost the 350,000 children. Don't know where they are. The Biden administration just gaffed on that one. Arriving from Libya. Yep. And is no longer processing their asylum claims. This is just an invasion, folks. We know this to be true. Meanwhile, the government has declared a state of emergency and announced new measures to stop what it describes as an invasion of their southern border. So it appears that some of these nations are really trying to figure it out, like the island of Crete. And Italy seems to be figuring this out as well. Giorgia Meloni seems to be saying, we're done with this. We're going to deport people that come here illegally and people that are here illegally. That's the right approach. Because what's happening is you're inundating your nation with foreign migrants. Foreign migrants that, again, are not assimilating. Go look at Paris. Go look at London. Go look at Germany. Go look at Sweden. Then go look at Poland. Go look at Hungary. Go look at Slovakia. Go look at Russia. And you tell me the difference between those nations. I think you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot have unchecked, unbridled, unfettered immigration into your country of illegal aliens. It just cannot work, folks. I know we'd all love to think that it does, but it cannot work. It doesn't work out that way. Only nations that want to commit suicide. So these roughly 10,000 migrants arrived on Crete earlier this week, most of them men from North Africa, overwhelming local services, right? Think about Cloward and Pivot. I've talked to you about this many times, and costing taxpayers huge sums of money. So in other words, bankrupting you, right? You're paying for other people. Isn't that nice? You're so kind, by the way. Now, in the center of a sweltering hall, rows of men sit in silence with nothing to occupy them but to wait. Signs from an old tourist fair propped up behind them urge visitors to explore the beauty and the nature with illustrations and coves and beaches in Crete. And then all of a sudden these people show up. I mean, it's so ridiculous. These governments that take these people in are committing suicide, folks. There's no other way to say it to you. There's no other way to say it to you. It's an invasion. It's not on purpose. Brought to you by the Obama administration when they took out Gaddafi, who was preventing, at least from Africa, this mass migration into Europe. He said this. He said, if you take me out, you're going to have this unchecked migration of Africans in your nations. He said this. And what happened? Well, We all know what happened to Gaddafi. Yeah, we all know about that. Look at this. More than 7,000 illegal migrants have arrived by boat to Greece in the past 10 days. Asylum centers on the island are overflowing. So look at this. They need to be sent back to their country of origin. That's the only way it can go down to. That's the only way this could work, folks. Otherwise, you've lost Europe. That's it. There's no other way to say it to you. That's it. But they're waking up slowly but surely. You see people in Britain now protesting against this. You see people in Ireland protesting against this. You see it all over. People have had enough. The native populations, the indigenous peoples, if you will, have had enough. And they're standing up. Anyone who comes will be detained and returned. That's the proper means. Because it will, again, deter people from coming there. They're not going to go there if they know they're going to be turned around and just sent back. Yeah, there you go. The new rules block migrants from moving inland. Previously, many entered through beaches and continued, right up to the mainland. There you go. So it appears that Greece wants to survive. Good for Greece. My hat's off to you. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. This is at Yahoo News. It says that President Trump's executive order on homelessness sparks mixed reaction. What is this all about? So Trump, as some of you know, signed this executive order to address the homelessness, specifically those experiencing homelessness while also fighting drug addiction or mental illness, is so privy to Californians, as we see it on our city streets constantly, and of course it's getting out of hand. People come to these sections of the nation, like California, that allow people to live on the streets, and they claim that it's, compassion. There's nothing compassionate about making somebody live in a tent on a city sidewalk or in a park. But you see this all over the state. I was watching the other day, they had a park in Oakland, a kids park, loaded with homeless tents all over. You can't even go play there. I don't know anyone that would bring their kid to play there, but the whole park was taken over. And we start to see this more and more and more. And what has Gavin Newsom done to stop this? Well, put more money into it. Put more money particularly into his own pockets. Now, according to the White House, the order directs the Attorney General, that'd be Pam Bondi, to reverse judicial precedents and end consent decrees that limit state and local governments' ability to commit individuals on the streets who are at a risk to themselves or to others. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Requires the Attorney General to work with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary of HUD, and the Secretary of Transportation to prioritize grants for states and the municipalities that enforce prohibitions on open illicit drug use, urban camping and loitering, and of course urban squatting, and track the location of sex offenders. There's a long list of people that can be obviously committed to these mental hospitals, is what it comes down to. And we should do this. This is the way it used to work. People that were not safe to live out on the streets, right, because they couldn't function in society, went to mental institutions. And then around the 1960s, they stopped doing this. And now you see how crazy everything has become. And just understand, again, when you weaponize the law to say, hey, anybody can live on the streets and anywhere in the nation, particularly in most parts of California, some city ordinance, like Beverly Hills, you can't do that, but most city ordinances, like LA, anywhere in LA, you can do this. That's why Venice is a, squatter's paradise. And President Trump has realized this. We've got to get these people off the streets. We need to get them either help or get them, whatever they need to. If they need to be just hospitalized, we need to offer those services. Now, California is a major hotbed for this as it as it holds the most homeless people in the nation. There's another win for Gavin Newsom. Maybe he can run on that. The number one state for the most homeless, Gavin Newsom. Come on down. That's what we have here with Gavin Newsom. A problem that's spent several billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars on, and yet it's gotten worse. It's just ridiculous. I mean, they're not trying to fix the problem. They're trying to cash out on this using taxpayer dollars. Good move on Trump. This is a good one. This should be done. They need to build hospitals to help, obviously, get these people off the streets, to either have them live or, again, to rehabilitate them and get them out being productive members of society. We can't have people living on our streets, folks. It just cannot happen. This has to stop all over the nation. Look at this. This one's a good one. I love that. I'm going to go over this one. We don't have much time left, and I want to go over this. We got about 10 minutes left remaining in the show today. So I want to talk about this one quick. Just to follow up, we talked about this on Monday's show. 3 arrests in the Cincinnati mob attack. 1 was freed on bail. This is remarkable to me. This is crazy. Now, this obviously goes over the people that were, the white people, that were attacked by the mostly black mob, if I'm pretty sure it was all black. And I don't say that to be divisive. I just tell you because that's how it is. And again, we all know that if the roles were reversed, if you had a group of white people attacking a group of black people like that, you'd hear it ad nauseum on the news, round the clock, about how awful America is. But here we actually play it off as, well, you know, this could have been avoided. It got out of hand. You now have this awful city councilwoman, if you can even call her that. I think her name is Victoria something. I don't even know what it is. I don't even want to know what it is. Saying that they deserved it now. Now she's under fire for this. This is how someone who is supposed to represent the people of Cincinnati is talking about this incident. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. So now Fox 19 said that this Meriwether, 34, and Dakira Vernon, 24, of Evanston were booked Tuesday afternoon on charges of felonious assault, aggravated riot. Jail and court records now show. Early Wednesday, the third suspect, Jermaine Matthews, 39, jailed, and court officials confirm as well. At least 2 more arrests were forthcoming, so the outlet said. So we know that the footage emerged on early Saturday morning. Showed a group of people beating a man, a white man, in the streets. Appeared to knock a woman unconscious. Now, it didn't appear. She was knocked unconscious. For no reason, by the way. And I understand what happened. There was supposed to be some back and forth between the older bald man and one of the other people there. Someone said a racial slur was used. Now, it is important to note that there is footage of the white man pushing one of the black men in, like, the shoulder area. Like, as he reaches and pushes him. And then you see the mob just go crazy on this guy. So, again, we're not told what led up to this. We're not told why all these people are just around this guy. Just, they were all swarmed around him. So there's clearly some type of dialogue happening. And I've gotten other information that this guy was drunk and he was kicking cars. I mean, this seems odd, of course. But you get different results online, so who knows what's really going on. But there is footage, again, of this guy pushing this guy right before the footage we commonly see where they're shoving him on the ground, they're kicking him and just nonstop, punching him in the head, kicking him, pulling him in the middle of the street. Another gentleman was knocked down, hit in the face. And, of course, this woman goes over to him, and then a black woman pulls her back. She goes back, and then this guy clocks her right in the face, knocks her unconscious. And you can see the footage of her, how she looks today. I mean, black eye, busted lip, just bruising under the eyes. I mean, it's horrible. She didn't do anything to anybody. She's a middle-aged single mother. Punch in the face for no reason. I mean, he clocked her right in the face. This one guy. And yet, it's, aside from, right-wing media, are we hearing about this? We're not hearing anything about this, really. Now, the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police have gone on to say that Meriwether, who was indicted on July 10th for receiving stolen property, weapons under disability, improper transportation of a firearm, and other charges. What an Emmy Award winner this guy is. This group noted that Meriwether was released on a $4,000 bond, although he only needed $400 or 10% to go free. This is your court system in Cincinnati. There you go. Yeah, you can go do all this, punch somebody in the face, kick someone on the ground. There's no reason to kick someone on the ground like that. For shoving somebody? Really? Punching somebody like that on the ground? An older guy on the ground? I mean, come on. It's not self-defensive. They're trying to kill somebody. That's what it comes down to. And our wonderful justice system allows you to go free. You can do all that great stuff. Beat somebody in the middle of the street. Where are the police on this? That's what I want to know. Where are the police when all this is going on? How come nobody stepped in and say, hey, let's break this up, guys. Come on. Enough's enough. Nobody. It was people cheering him on, laughing, recording. I mean, there was at least 10 guys around this guy punching him in the face. And at least 3 people accosted the woman. And several other people accosted the other gentleman who was, again, just hit for what reason? We don't know. Is there a reason? Maybe there's no reason. Was it racially motivated? We don't know. But one of the people on the recording is saying something along the lines of, you shouldn't be out here. Now, they're at a music festival. What do you mean they shouldn't be out there? Yeah, folks, the rot runs deep. The rot runs deep. I told you this. When you lose God, when you abandon morality, this is what you get. This is what you get, folks. All right, last article, Epoch Health. This is a good one. I want to tell you about this. Magnesium depletion linked to depression and how to replenish it effectively. Now, most of you, understand that part of my show is also about health and wellness as well. That's a big factor in my life. That's what my degrees are in. But a large study found that more than 13,000 people found a strong connection between magnesium levels and depression. It showed that for every 1 point increase in someone's magnesium depletion score, their risk of depression rose by 13%. That's a lot. Now, this magnesium depletion score is a tool that helps to identify people who may be low in magnesium by looking at common risk factors like certain medications, alcohol use, kidney problems, or what have you. So it's important to note, magnesium is just something you should always have in your diet every single day. You don't want to go without it. I take a vitamin, a supplement with magnesium that's very high dosage, very effective. It's in powder form, so it's hitting your bloodstream right away, circulates through the body. It's actually good. It chelates any type of toxicity in the brain. It passes the blood-brain barrier, and it goes in and just cleans everything out. That's why I have such a genius show analysis every day for you. But you want to make sure you're getting the right type of magnesium. Magnesium is responsible for at least 300 different functions in your body. So when you take out a supplement like that out of your body, it's leading to mood problems, depression, obviously muscle cramping issues of that nature. Again, lots of different functions it goes over. And again, when you lack that, we start to see these issues happen time and time again. Why would we want that? We don't want that. So my statement to you, of course, is to make sure you're taking your supplements. That's important. You need to make sure you're staying up on things like magnesium. And understand that it's a water-soluble nutrient. Now, what does that mean? It means that pretty much every day, your body's going to flush it out. It's not a fat-soluble. It's a water-soluble. So you got to stay up on things like magnesium. You should be getting a daily dosage of that in a high enough form to obviously combat any of these types of ailments that you could find with a lack of magnesium. So I wanted to share that with you. It's important, folks. Always keep your house in order. Make sure that you're staying prepared for everything. Store up your food, water, anything you need to be self-sufficient. Make sure you're getting square with God too, folks. And I'll see you tomorrow on the next Marco Dre Show. Be good. Stay busy. God bless.